Hi, this is John Landis, Solutions Consultant with TriMech, with a video tech tip about SOLIDWORKS Search Utility. We all know about SOLIDWORKS Command Search, available straight from the title bar in SOLIDWORKS. If we're looking for commands here, for example, the intersection curve tool, I can activate that tool right here, or just click on the eyeball, and SOLIDWORKS will show me where I can find that particular command. But what I want to talk about now is not the command search function, but the files and models search function. This is a really handy utility that allows us to quickly find particular models that we're interested in based on keyword search terms or even the values of custom properties. So for example, if I wanted to find a new gripper finger for this assembly, I could simply start typing gripper. And here in the results pane, it starts giving me results in terms of assemblies, parts, as well as any other files that have that text string in there. So I see that I have a number of different gripper fingers in here available to me. This search utility is extremely robust. We can also search on custom property data. So for example, I wanted to find the components that were used for a particular project. These three components were used in the French Coast project, as you can see here in the right pane. But it doesn't stop there. If you click on any one of these results, you'll get the opportunity to further dig into the things that populate that component, such as various features. And we can then leverage these features in other operations. We can essentially farm our components for features that we can use with other features. But it doesn't stop there. Again, we can search on custom properties, maybe a description, and any phrase or text string that populates the description property, those components will now show up here in the right pane of SOLIDWORKS. Now, sometimes folks don't like the fact that we get too many results here. For example, if I type in the word socket, you notice that I'm getting results here not only for the components that I'm working with, but I'm also getting results here taken from SOLIDWORKS Toolbox. So it's pretty clear that SOLIDWORKS Toolbox is in the search paths for this routine. Let's take a look at the things that we have in our system options to control this search routine. When we go to our search options here, the first thing I want to take a look at is the search node, where we can turn on or off the SOLIDWORKS search box. We can turn on or off whether or not it will search for results while we're typing, and we can even include 3D Content Central results. As I said, SOLIDWORKS installs Windows search, and you have choices here as to when that Windows search is going to index your locations. This message here, always index, may slow SOLIDWORKS. I've actually never seen any slowdown there. Now, in terms of where the search routine is going to search for content, you'll find that under file locations here on the search section. And it tells us what our search paths are. You'll notice that there's a lot of search paths in here that are pointing to locations within the SOLIDWORKS installation. And I don't want this routine to search for those locations. So what I'm going to do is remove some of those locations just by selecting them. I don't need to search my 2022 templates or my 2022 thread profiles or sheet formats or weldments or any of those things. In fact, let's go in here and get rid of all of those paths where there's content that we're not really interested in. And now we're left with just these three paths. I say okay here, and you're going to see something that has caught a lot of people. We go back to our file locations and we go back to the search paths, and wow, look at that. All of those search paths that we just deleted are back. What is going on here? Well, I'll tell you what's going on here. These paths are specified by the Windows search routine. So it's not enough to remove them from the search paths here. We actually have to go into Windows search routine options and remove the paths that we're not interested in. How do we get there? Well, we'll just go into search, Windows search settings, and here we'll customize the search locations. And we want to make sure that we modify the search locations and to show all the locations. Now what we see here are all of those locations that Windows has designated search locations, and what we want to do is start removing some of those locations. So if you take a look here at the sheet format, when I pick it in the bottom pane, it shows me where it appears in the top pane, and now I can deselect those check marks. I don't need to have the toolbox browsers in my search paths either. Turn those off. My sheet formats, weldments, program data, etc. So make sure that you use the Windows search configuration utility to remove those locations that you would like to have removed from the SOLIDWORKS file location search path. Now when I say OK here, and I'll close here as well, go back into SOLIDWORKS, remove those locations again, I'm actually going to close SOLIDWORKS just to make sure the changes that I made persist. And I'll bring SOLIDWORKS right back up. And if I've done everything right, by manipulating the paths in that search routine, the Windows search routine settings, I was able to effectively remove those paths from the SOLIDWORKS search folder locations. So in here, if we go back to our options, and now we go to those search locations, you notice that the search paths that we removed have stayed gone. They're no longer there, and that's because of the change that we made in the Windows search settings. So that's Windows search utility. Again, a very robust utility with comprehensive searching. You can tell SOLIDWORKS where to search for your content, and more importantly, if you remove locations from that search folder routine, remember to use your Windows search settings to explicitly remove them. I hope this video tech tip is helpful. Again, John Landis, Trimex Solutions.